Let's be honest. Does your weekend ever feel like just a slightly less frantic workday? Well, that's about to change. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to build what we call an AI employee, a system that works around the clock so, for once, you don't have to. It's time to get your weekends back.
No, really, take a second and think about it. When was the last time you were totally present with your family or friends? No sneaky phone checks during a hike, no quick email scans at the dinner table. For a lot of us, a truly unplugged weekend feels like a total fantasy, right?
You know that feeling. It's that constant low-level hum of anxiety in the back of your mind. That little voice whispering that if you step away for even a second, you're going to miss a huge lead, or you're just creating a mountain of work for yourself come Monday. Well, that exact problem is what we are going to solve today.
Now, the solution here isn't to just work harder, and it's not even necessarily to hire more people. It's about working smarter. It's about building a system that can operate 24/7, even when you can't. So let me introduce you to your new secret weapon, the AI employee.
Okay, let's get one thing straight. We are not talking about a physical robot sitting at a desk. An AI employee is really just an ecosystem of smart, connected tools, a lot of which you probably already know. Think automated email responders, scheduling software like Calendly, your CRM, all working together in perfect harmony. It's a virtual system that keeps the lights on even when you're out living your life.
And this, right here, shows the transformation perfectly. Let's take Rachel, a solo consultant. Her before picture? It was constant email anxiety, losing leads who needed a fast reply, and that classic Sunday night dread. Her after? She walks in on Monday morning to find pre-qualified leads just waiting for her, a list of prioritized tasks, and absolutely zero administrative backlog. The system just handled it for her all weekend.
And here's the real kicker. This wasn't just about lowering her stress levels. Rachel actually saw a 34% increase in qualified leads from her weekend inquiries. Think about that for a second. Her automated system actually performed better than her manual, stressed-out self could. So this isn't just about damage control while you're away. It's about active growth.
So you're probably wondering, okay, how do I actually build this? Well, the whole system is built on 5 core components. Let's dive into the first and, honestly, the most fundamental one: intelligent response management.
This is a perfect example from a dermatologist, Dr. Lim. Look at how this automation feels helpful, not robotic. First, it sets clear expectations. Dr. Lim is back Monday. Second, it proactively offers a solution, a scheduling link, for non-urgent things. The potential client feels heard, their need is met instantly, and you haven't had to lift a finger.
All right, on to component number 2. Once you've sent that initial helpful response, the system needs to get smart. It has to figure out who's a really hot lead and who might just be browsing. This is what we call smart lead qualification.
You know, a financial planner named Michael did an audit and discovered that a whopping 23% of his absolute best, highest value clients first reached out to him over a weekend. That's a huge number. Before he had a system, he might have been slow to reply and lost them. Now, his AI employee automatically flags these high-potential leads, so they are the very first people he calls on Monday morning.
So how do you actually do this? Well, you start by identifying your key questions. Things like budget, timeline, or specific needs that separate a great lead from a tire kicker. Then you build rules in your system that score their answers and trigger different follow-ups. That way, on Monday, you can pour all your energy into the most promising conversations. Component number 3 is all about tackling a universal Monday morning nightmare: scheduling. The goal here is to completely kill that frustrating back-and-forth email game of what time works for you once and for all.
Check this out. Teresa, a consultant, realized that 40%, almost half, of her meeting requests were coming in on Saturdays and Sundays. Instead of waking up to a scheduling mess on Monday, her system now lets those eager leads book a time directly on her calendar. It even sends them prep materials. She walks into the office on Monday, and her week is already perfectly structured.
Okay, moving on to component 4, content delivery systems. Now, this is where your AI employee goes from being just a simple assistant to being a proactive expert that delivers real value the second a prospect shows interest.
Look at how powerful this is. An attorney named James set up a super simple rule. If a weekend inquiry mentioned their industry, say manufacturing, the system would automatically email them a relevant legal guide he'd written. This tiny little touch showed immediate expertise,
And the result? A 27% jump in his conversion rate, because people were showing up to that first call already impressed and ready to go.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, the fifth component, which really ties everything together: return preparation. This is the part of the system that makes sure your Monday morning is strategic and focused, not chaotic and reactive.
I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. Sarah, a real estate broker, went from spending the first 2 hours of every Monday just trying to catch up to getting a complete prioritized brief in just 25 minutes. Her system pulls together every weekend interaction, all the new leads, any urgent questions, appointments that were booked, and turns it into a clear action plan. That's not a time saver, that's a game changer.
Okay, so we've covered the 5 core components that make up this whole system. Now, let's get really practical. How do you actually build your very own weekend freedom plan? It's actually a pretty straightforward 5-step process.
Here's the blueprint. You start with analysis. Just track what kind of inquiries you get over a weekend or two. Then, design a few response templates for the most common scenarios. Third, select your tools. Find a good CRM and a scheduler that talk to each other. Now, the most important step is number 4, supervise. Run the system for a weekend, but keep an eye on it. And finally, refine. Use the data you get to make the system smarter and smarter over time. It's a process, not a flip of a switch.
But I know what you're thinking. There's always that one big question, that one fear. What about a real emergency? You don't want your fancy automation to block a client with a genuine crisis. So how does the system handle that?
The solution is actually pretty simple. You build in an escalation path. Think of it as an escape hatch. Your automated response just includes a simple line like, "For genuine, time-sensitive emergencies, please call this number directly." This is brilliant because it effectively filters out all the routine stuff while making sure that anything truly critical still gets through to you or a designated contact right away.
What's so fascinating is that the benefits go way beyond just getting your Saturday back. Suddenly, your communication is way more consistent. The system is constantly gathering valuable data on what your clients are asking for. You can actually scale up your services without scaling your work hours. And, like we saw with Sarah, your Mondays are totally transformed from chaotic catch-up sessions into the most strategic day of your week.
But really, when it comes down to it, it's all about this quote from Mark, a consultant who hadn't taken a real weekend off in 4 years. He finally forced himself to go on a hike, completely off the grid. He said he came back expecting total chaos, but instead he found his business hadn't just survived, it had thrived. And that's when he realized this wasn't just some business tool, it was life-changing.
So look, the tools are out there. The blueprint is clear. Your AI employee is ready to clock in and get to work. The only real question left is for you. Are you ready to build the system that finally lets you take a real, honest-to-goodness weekend off?